Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015 whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the you in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Civil Discourse.
Welcome to Civil Discourse. I am your host, Wesley, and this is my co-host.
It's Steve.
And we're going to talk to you guys about all the events of the week in a very civil manner, as best as we can. And so let's get started off this week with a couple topics that's really been on everyone's mind. The first topic, first, let's just start off with how was your week been, Steve?
It's been pretty good. It's a week. Let's put it that way. I'm ready to go on vacation. That's what I need is a vacation.
Yeah, vacation's always a great thing, you know. I'm wondering if the people over in South Africa right now are looking at America as a possible new vacation spot with the whole new thing that Trump's just come up with. I'm not sure how you feel about it. I know Trump right now has been talking about for a while is bringing in some South African, white South Africans to be exact, and resettling them here in America, because what he said is that they're going through a process of where South African government is taking land from white South African farmers and redistributing it back to the South African people. Black South African people. What do you feel about that?
I'm going to give you my honest opinion. It's with all that happened with apartheid over decades and decades and decades of white rule over there. I kind of don't have a sympathetic bone for him, to be honest with you. If what is being said is true about the conditions over there for white South Africans, they're being threatened, they're being injured, they're having their lands taken away, their money taken away. Well, to be honest with you, Wesley, do two wrongs make a right? No. But did they deserve it? Probably.
What do you think about him resettling them here in America, though? I mean, they're all those people are originally probably from Dutch territory.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, what is it? Is it our responsibility to resettle anyone around the world who is being wronged or who needs to seek alleged asylum, whatever it is? Is that our policy here in America, is to do stuff like that?
I look at it this way, and we've discussed immigration policy before, and we have a policy where we take in people that will be fortuitous to the country, meaning engineers, farmers, IT folks, whoever it is that follow a certain criteria of people that we want to have come in this country. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm not saying it's going to make a huge difference. I don't know. Are they looking at like 50,000 people that they're trying to bring over? I don't know if that's going to make a big difference, to be honest with you. I look at it as we've let in so many millions of people that we didn't want here, that, as you said before, they are a part of our society now. Well, I get that. So what's the difference of bringing them in as opposed to letting millions of illegals in?
I mean, I don't see nothing. That's where you might get, an agreement from me. If this is what's going on with these people and they need to seek asylum in our country, I don't have a problem with that. Just like I wouldn't have a problem with people who are from Venezuela or people who are from Latin American countries or even African
countries. One difference? What's the difference? What's the difference of this stuff? What is the major difference? If you can just think about it from the standpoint of millions of people coming across our borders illegally, right? Mm-hmm. That's the key point. We let in millions of people illegally every year.
Yeah,
but now you're bringing these folks in, and they're coming into the country as refugees, but in a legal manner. That's something that is completely different than what we had in the Biden administration.
He's for Haitians as well too, and I think Cubans. There was an order in place for them to be able to come here and to be able to seek asylum in our country, the way, and they did it the correct way, and they still have been. That order has been overturned by now by the Trump administration, and but okay, and he shut down this. What he's doing for these people, he actually shut it down for everyone else, and now he's reopening it for this. I think the differences are the fact that these are South Africans, the fact that Elon Musk spent over $250 million on his campaign, and he's South African. I think those are really important factors. Larger than that factor, I think the people that he wants here, he's always told us were Norwegian, Finland. I mean, he's always told us he wants people here who are of European descent. That's who he wants here. He does not want people here. The undesirables to him are people who are from Africa, not the Afrikaners, of course, but people who are originally from Africa, people who are from Asia, and people who are from Latin America. He does not want them over here. He wants people over here who are, that's why he's trying to, me personally, think that's why he's trying to he wanted Canada, because he understands that comes with an influx of European Americans. He wants Greenland. That comes with an influx of European Americans. He's trying to fight.
What's the population of Greenland, Wesley?
Probably like 500,000. Half a million, something like that. It's probably not, but it's an influx. But I guarantee you, it's probably 99%.
We're not doing it because we're not taking. We don't want Greenland because of.
I understand. I understand it's the shipping lanes. So it's a lot of other different things that go along with it. But what else do you? But what else do you get with it though? I guarantee you, if that was a country full of someone else, he wouldn't be asking for it. He's not going to worry about them. We should take Cuba if it's for national defense. We should take a bunch of other countries, but they're not even talking about those. Why doesn't he want Mexico?
Why do we want Cuba? It's a small little island.
I'm just saying, for national defense, it's 90 miles off our shores.
It's 90 miles off our shores.
Do you remember we had? They did before. Remember we had the Cuban Missile Crisis when Russia was going to park missiles.
That was 60 years ago. 62 years ago. Something like that. It's crazy.
But I mean,
it's not the same. It's not the same world. It's not the same geopolitical world as it was back in the early.
No, we just broke Cuba. So that's what basically happened. We just broke Cuba. That's kind of what happened. We made sure they stayed broke. We keep them broke, and that's what we did to them.
They're a communist country. Of course, we're going to try and break them.
So is Russia. So is Russia to this day. They're pretty much a communist country to this day. And I mean, why are we not trying to break them? I think we had a president who did that. And but back, I don't want to get too far off, but these are all things that pertain. Now, everything we're talking about pertains to the simple fact that the reason why he wants to bring these people over here has nothing to do with, let's go help them out. Send them back to where they're from. You love doing that for everyone else. You'll send people you're trying to send people to Libya. They're not even from Libya at all. You care nothing about it. It's like, it's a simple mathematics when we look at what's going on here, man. It just adds up. If I'm calling people S-hole countries, deplorables, or whatever you want to call me, tainting the blood of America, everything else you've had to say about these set of people, murderers and rapists, but then all of a sudden my heart just is wrenching for the people of South Africa, the ones who for generations have owned farms. They own 80% of the arable farmland, which is the tillable, the good farmland in Africa. How does 5% of the population own 80% of the good farmland in a country? How does that happen? I guarantee you they own most.
I don't think it's that way anymore. I guarantee you it's not.
They have. You know why? Because I would take it too. I would take. What did America do? What did we do as Americans? What did we do as Americans? What was that? Manifest destiny? Come on, man.
Okay. All right. Listen. Okay. So we're going to stay on this topic, but I'm going to talk about history for a second.
Absolutely.
What has every country over in the Eastern Hemisphere done for thousands and thousands of years? They fight, they war. Europe, Africa, Asia, they fight. They have wars over land. Mm-hmm. It is no different than it is today. We fight for land. We fight to move forward, to progress our culture. I mean, that's what people fought for a millennia.
And I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm disagreeing with is the fact that
it's not a manifest destiny. This is something that we did to build the United States. It's no different than what Muslims did back when they invaded Europe.
I'm not
years ago.
I only brought that up is in terms of like the same way that we felt like it was our destiny.
It's a bad argument. It's a terrible argument because you want to talk about the United States taking lands. We're not taking lands. Where have we taken land? We've gotten away from colonization.
Oh, we got a president right now who is trying to turn Canada into the 51st state, who's trying to take Greenland, who wanted to take the Panama Canal.
You are really good at handling those troll comments, aren't you? You think everything that he says is gospel.
He speaks about it. He speaks. So are you really trying to tell me that he's not serious about the things that he's saying? No, he's not serious.
Half the crap that he says, just like making himself look like the Pope. Come on. He
didn't do that, though. But
oh my gosh.
Listen, he didn't do that, though. He told you guys.
Okay. So gullible.
If we're on the world stage, I am the president of the United States. Is trolling the world in this way? You troll your northern neighbor.
Yeah, because he needs a trade deal. He needs them to come to the table for trade, for immigration.
So you troll. Come on, this has nothing.
Yes.
Come on. How does him telling you I'm going to try to make you into the 50?
Listen. Do you not realize who you're talking about? You're talking about a guy who has been around entertainment for how many years now? Over a decade, maybe 20, 25 years, he's been involved in some type of entertainment, whether it be on TV, if he invested in movies, I don't know. But he's more of an entertainer than he is a president, right? And I'll be freely the first one to admit that. But for you guys on the left to sit there and take everything he says, like, holy crap, the sky's going to fall every 5 minutes because he says something, makes you guys look foolish. Because you fall for it. You might as well just have a fish hook in your mouth and say, yank me into the boat.
If this makes us look foolish, what do you think it makes the United States look like? Honestly, if we have to have a president who's this is the leader. I don't understand how this is the person we have the second most amount of nukes in the entire world. And we got a prankster, a jokester as president, and everyone's like, "Oh, you guys look foolish for believing what the president says. Oh, you look like an idiot."
But you know what? We at least know who the president is. In the last administration, we didn't know who the president was because
I knew who it was. It was Joe Biden. It was Joe Biden. This guy. Okay, are we talking
come on now? You know better than that. That's another fish story.
Oh man.
You know damn well that guy couldn't stay up past 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
He need to. What do you need to stay up past 4 o'clock in the afternoon for? You can go to sleep. If you got all your work done in the morning, we both know.
Did you go to the White House and make sure he had his porridge before he went to bed? I'm so glad.
Are we talking about the same guy who says, "Oh, I hadn't heard about that"? He doesn't know about half the stuff that's going on in his White House. You know that. You've heard about it. It's like with Mike. Was that Mike Waltz?
Biden didn't know anything about what was going on in his White House.
I don't know. He got a bunch of stuff passed though. They got a lot of stuff passed. Actual bills that were passed.
He did not do that.
He didn't do it. Now, Mike Johnson even talked to him. You got people who were on the right who went and spoke to him in his office during time, having conversations about things, getting things done.
And they also said that he was clueless. They say he didn't have a clue what was going on in there.
That's what this is what they like to make out about Biden. This is just what they do.
God,
but at the end of the day, how are we gullible when we had a great? Did we have a good economy under Biden? Was the economy good under Biden?
No.
Goodness. The only thing that people complain about, there's only one thing that people really complain about, which is inflation. And we know we were supposed to have a deep recession. We were supposed to have you know why? Do we know why these things were the problems that we had were in place? You know why? Inflation is based off of what? It's not based off of one administration and what they do unless they come in.
Spending too much.
Yeah. Who was the one who spent more money than anyone in 4 years did in 8? Trump.
Again, I'm not going to go back and litigate COVID.
We're not going to litigate
because that's exactly
we don't
what
need
it is.
to. But the fact, come on, we did this argument last time. But let me circle us back around.
Okay, please do.
Well, we have to look at the fact of the matter is this guy right here has shown us clearly that his preference is for a certain class of people, certain people in this country or around the world. He's shown that. He's given an outline. He has never spoken and said, "Oh, we'd love to have some people come in here from, this country that has people of color," or that. He's never done that. Never done that. But he does show preference every single time. And that's the problem in this country. It's a problem. Because by 2040, let me finish.
Go ahead.
by 2040, we will have a population change. There's going to be a shift here where the people who are people of color will be the majority in this country. That's going to happen. It doesn't matter. We cannot stop that from happening. So if we're smart in this country, we would start fostering attitude and a conducive environment for that to happen and us to grow as a nation and not try to stop something that's inevitable. That's a problem. You want to be Motorola? I don't want to be Motorola. They tried to stop the inevitable. That was the iPhone. And look what happened to them. They're done. That's what we're looking at. That's what worries me more than anything else. That's what worries me. It's not because I'm sitting here, oh, it's about race. We can't have that problem. Look what's going on in Africa and other countries. These countries are going to be the leaders of the next generation. If we keep on holding on to the old guard, which is our European ties, of course we stay friends with them. I'm not saying we should break those friendships, but those friendships are now starting to splinter us from the rest of the world. When Africa is growing, other countries in Asia, they're growing. India, they're growing at a fast tack. We're holding on to old ways of thinking. We need to start thinking new. We need fresh bodies, fresh minds in our government, and this is not helping. When you do something like this, you're showing everybody like, this is who I prefer. This is what I'd rather have here. And we're calling, hey, they are farmers, they're this. Well, how do we know what's going on with the other people who are coming in here? We're just going to say just because they're refugees.
Well, hold on. What's wrong with bringing farmers over to the United States?
Nothing.
We don't have enough farmers to begin with.
Nothing at all. But I think there's farmers all over the world. Let's not have a problem with one and then have no problem with the other. That's with me. This is not me saying I don't want South, but don't do it in a way that we're doing it. Everything is about methodology with me. That's it. How do we do it? How do we make this happen? And how do we make it happen in a way that's conducive to growth for America? That's what I'm all about. Our country.
I get that. But again, I think you're looking at a standpoint of what they call white nationalism. Okay. And I understand where you're coming from. I think there is an argument for that, but I don't see that as being the issue in this case. If you're looking to bring refugees into the country that are going to be responsible citizens, and they come in, they help, raise the land or farm the land and bring food and products to our shelves, I don't see a problem with it. I wouldn't care if they were black, white, Hispanic, Asian. It wouldn't matter to me.
You are the ones that are actually coming over here and doing that, actually helping do a lot of the work. I mean, honestly, the vast majority of the people who are coming to this country, who are migrants, immigrants, whatever you want to call them, are helping to pay for what they'll help pay for our Social Security when we get to that age. Ours, because that's how the Social Security system works. We have to have new bodies, more people in here to pay for this. And as much as there's not enough of the other people who want to come here to pay for that. They weren't even asking to come here. Most of he offered it to them. They weren't even asking them to, because in the beginning they're like, we're good. We don't want to go there. Because you're rich in South Africa. You've stolen everything. These people, these aren't just, I'm poor, petty, poor me. No, you got big money in your bank accounts. You got your family's been living high on the hog for decades over here. And now all of a sudden, poor you. But we're not saying the same thing about countries that we've devastated, like Venezuela and other countries that really need the help. People who really come over here and work. We look at them like you're peasants. Pretty much.
What did we do to Venezuela? They put themselves in the position they're in by putting a dictator in place. We had nothing to do with that.
Oh, so what do we do to South Africa?
Put Maduro in there.
What do we do to South Africa?
South Africa? What do you mean? What did we do to South Africa?
Why are we so? I can tell you what we did to Venezuela. I'm gonna go back over that, but I wanted to bring this up why the iron is hot. But you said, what did we do to Venezuela when Biden offered them to come here? I can tell you what all the presidents, the last 4 presidents, have done to Venezuela. Maybe 3 have done to Venezuela. With sanctions that are just onerous. That once you start putting sanctions on countries, and
why do you put sanctions on countries, Leslie?
We know how our sanctions in Haiti.
Why do we put?
We put sanctions on everybody.
Control.
Exactly.
But it's control because of who's in charge. Period.
Okay, but that affects their
people.
Just
like we have sanctions on Iran, like we have sanctions on Russia. We have sanctions all over the world because of the people that run those countries.
And that's why Biden said, you know what? I know that I'm putting onerous sanctions because the people don't want you. They've been voting these people out.
Why the hell didn't they take them away? Did he have the power to
No,
take
he
those
did.
sanctions
No,
away?
that's not.
Yes,
no,
but
Biden.
he
No,
didn't
Biden.
do
No,
it.
he did. No, Biden did take the sanctions away. Let me explain.
Then
Let me
why
tell
are
you what
they
happened.
still? Why are they still coming?
Let me finish. What happened was Biden took the sanctions away. I think I want to say in maybe maybe 21 or 22. He took them away for a little while because Maduro came out and said, you know what? I'm going to hold free and fair elections. I'm going to allow these people to run, and I'll hold free and fair elections. So Biden's like, you know what? I'm going to take the sanctions off. I'm going to ease the sanctions, on you guys right here. So he started easing the sanctions on them for a while. And what did Maduro do? Same thing Putin does. Oh, the election happens. He cheats again. He cheated the election again. There was violence in the street. He took over, took back office, so the sanctions went back on.
So you're saying an old man trusted somebody and didn't realize that he was getting duped. That's exactly what you're saying.
No.
That's exactly what you just said.
What I'm saying
is,
I'm
sorry, President Biden. We're going to do better this time.
Yeah, and you know what? It's good. That's called diplomacy. That's called diplomacy. That's called he didn't take off all sanctions. He just eased sanctions on them, so he can say, let me ease some of these, because you care about the people more than anything else. This is not about the government. This is more about the people. The people were hurting. He understands how bad this is hurting the people. He watched 7 million people fled Venezuela. 7 million, man. That's a lot of people.
What have I said in the past? Why is he still there? Why didn't we take him out of power when we had the chance 4 years?
Once you break it, you buy it, man. You know that we had a chance. Maduro's been in office since like 2014 or something like that. So this is not a Biden thing. This has been going on for a while because Obama put on sanctions. Trump did the same. Biden did the same. It's been going on the entire time. This isn't a Biden ordeal. This is just something that this guy held on to power. But you break it, you buy it. What? Invade? That's it. That's what you do. So why not invade Russia then? Why not invade these other countries that they're doing the same exact things? Why? Because if you break it, you buy it. You can't just go around invading countries because what are we going to do? We're going to have another Iraq down in Venezuela? You know what I mean? We're going to put someone in power. Then we're looking like we're basically being imperialist once again, taking the person, putting them in power, and you can't do that everywhere. It just doesn't work. We understand how many.
Well, maybe if you take somebody out, you could have some free and fair elections down there.
Yeah, but I mean, you still.
There are people down there that have fled the country that tried to run for their presidency.
Yeah,
they had to leave the country.
Two different guys, two different people. I know about one guy. We gave him $30 billion. Yeah, I mean, the woman is the one. The woman is the one who got the old man to be able to try to run for her because they thought that this is why Biden took off the sanctions, because they thought they were going to let her run. And then what did he do? Oh, I'm not letting her run for president.
If you don't take out that dictator, what's left? You have nothing left. That's why people are leaving, because they're being oppressed down there.
Why?
Period.
Because of the extreme sanctions that we have on them.
You have an asshole that's in power. Period.
So what's the difference? What do we do? Because we can see the sanctions that we put on Venezuela. This is why people are leaving. I'm not saying that it's all our fault. I understand Chavez. He started this ball rolling, and I understand all that. But once you get to the point to where you understand what you've done as well is hurting the people, that gives us cause. Sanctions hurt the people, man. You know that. They hurt people.
It does, but you have to remember why they're doing it. They're doing it to hurt the people.
I'm not.
They do it to hurt the people. But if the people understand. If the people down there understand why sanctions have been levied on them, maybe they would rise up and do something about it. But they're not able to. They don't have anybody backing them to take out what's currently there.
They have tried. Even after the election, they were in the streets. They killing. There was stuff going. I got a video of the stuff that happened. That we spoke about it on the show. They tried. It wasn't like that. But he has the military. He has the Supreme Court. He has everybody backing him up. This is a part of the game. He probably has Russia and whoever else proxying him as well.
If you cut the snake off the head, the head off the snake, what happens?
I'm gonna tell you, I don't subscribe to that because look what's going on in Libya. Look what's going on in Iraq. I don't subscribe to that at all. Look what happened in Afghanistan. So I don't. That's a bad. I think that's a bad theory. Even Trump came out. He made a point that I generally agreed with. I agree with it since a long time ago. Once we took Saddam Hussein was one of the worst things we did was taking Saddam Hussein out of power and taking Muammar Gaddafi out of power in Libya and in Iraq. that was a bad move. It doesn't just crumble like that. There's always going to be someone, maybe it's a general now who comes in and steps in. We might place someone in there, and then maybe a general who really has control of the military steps in again next, and he thinks he's a dictator, because we understand that that place has the most oil in the entire world. Known oil reserves, Venezuela is number one. Bigger than anyone. In reality, I really wish we had a better relationship with them, because we wouldn't need anyone else. I mean, their oil is kind of a high. Yeah. It's the grade of it is a really thick grade of oil, but I can't see it. What do we owe them? Why are we down here meddling in their affairs? Why are we coming in here sending private planes, chartering flights for these people to come here? Why?
I can't answer that. I'm not part of the administration. I don't make the decisions on that. I honestly, I don't really, like I said before, I don't have a problem with what happened over in South Africa, because by rights, it should have happened a long time ago. Okay. I don't really feel terrible about what's happening over there. Okay. I think it's finally gotten to the point where, now, as far as their government is concerned, as far as their economy is concerned, I don't know much about it. I don't pay attention to it. It's kind of out of my realm of knowledge of what happens over in South Africa. Okay, so for me, I look at it as if they're trying to escape because of oppression or there's violence levied upon them, I get it. Maybe we're not doing it the right way, but again, I don't see an issue with bringing.
I wish you felt that way about everyone else as well. That's my whole entire.
Okay, so I know people leave their countries because they're being oppressed. So the government is this, or the government is that. But again, that's not our problem. We are not the world's babysitter. We're not the world's police. And as much as I'd love for people to come to this country, I'd love for them to come the right damn way. You want to hear a good stat? I'll tell you a stat. Pew Research in 2023. Okay, Pew Research in 2023. 12.2 million people at the peak in 2007 came into this country illegally. Okay, between 2019 and 2022, over 13 million people came into this country illegally. Just in those 3 years. That's from Pew Research.
I mean, those are great big numbers.
Those are big damn numbers that we cannot sustain as a country.
I agree. I'm not, like I say, I am not against that. I really wish that our immigration policy was better. We need to work on our immigration policy and make it so that we do have the resources, we have the land, we have the ability to bring the people. We're gonna have to. It's like saying
have the fiscal resources to take care of that many millions of people. We barely get by now. You bring an influx of 13.7 million people in 4 years into this country. Come on. Really, Wesley? That's a pie in the sky. That's a pie in the sky dream, and
let me finish, because you just made my whole argument for me. I didn't say that exactly like that. I didn't say bring 13.7 million people in 4 years. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is we do have the capabilities. A gradual increase, because we're already set up. Let me finish. We're already set up for a gradual increase in population. That's part of the game. Without immigrants, we have a declining population rate. Period. So that's to say that, well, we're not set up for anything. We only set up for a declining population. That's not true, because we're not set up for that. Our system would break down if our population declined. It would break down, because we all know
we don't have the resources. We don't have the fiscal resources. We don't have the housing resources. We have none of that.
Okay.
For an influx of 13.7 million people.
Have you noticed? This is what I will say. Have you noticed that a decline in any kind of services or anything, housing in your area, due to the fact of these migrants coming here? Have you noticed any of that happening?
Yes. We have a lot of farmland in Georgia, so we get a lot of migrants that come here to work. Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, if you go out to any rural county in the state of Georgia, you're going to see migrants working fields. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many of them are here legally and how many are here legally, But the point is, we don't have the resources to take. We don't have the medical resources. We don't have the housing resources. We don't have the financial resources. We don't have the insurance resources for these people to go get health care. We just don't have it. We cannot sustain an influx of that many people without resources.
Are these people just leaning on the government? As soon as they get here, they all just lean on the government. They don't do anything. They're not working. They're not trying to do anything. They're just basically become homeless bums immediately.
I'm going to go get Eric Adams' phone number, the mayor of New York City, and we're going to talk to him.
Where they went and dropped them? Where they went and dropped them off?
Are they not a sanctuary city, Wesley? We've discussed this.
Where they went and just dropped them off by the boat?
Where they're welcomed. They're welcome there, right?
They're welcomed in Texas too when they're working. They're welcome in Texas when they're cleaning people's homes or when they're cutting their grass or when they're
New York. Are they not?
Oh yeah, they're definitely. What I'm saying is when you
the taxpayers of New York are paying for them to live in a hotel, and they're not
when you round up thousands of people at one time and then take them to a specific place that they did not ask to go, or they did not ask to have them come there, then that's a problem. You know what I mean? That's the difference.
It's not. No, it's not. These people are welcomed in those sanctuary cities, are they not?
Oh yeah, they are.
Then that's not a problem. That's never a problem. If I go round up,
if I'm Texas and I go round up 1,000 or 1,500 people, and then take them straight here and drop them off in the streets, and then drop it because
they're not dropping them off in the streets.
Yeah, they are.
You're dropping them off in hotels, being paid for by taxpayers.
They're not dropping off the hotels. Eventually, they end up getting to go to hotels.
Go talk to Eric Adams. Go talk to the mayor of Chicago.
They end up getting the services, but they're not dropping them off at their drop. I watched it happen. I watched buses get dropped off. People get dropped off on the side of the road. They dropped them off and they left them there. I saw it happen. You did too. I'm sure you saw this stuff.
But New York is taking them in, and they're paying $6 billion.
They don't want them laying on because they don't want them on the streets because these people have basically been dropped off there. That's a problem, though. Okay, and Texas is getting resources for the people who they're dropping off. Are they passing along those resources with the people too? I wonder. They're not. They're not. They're keeping the resources for themselves. It does matter. If I got paid for each migrant that came through here, or whatever, if the government's like, hey, you know what, we're going to give you X amount of dollars, and I take those people and I drop them off somewhere else, and I'm not taking care of them like the money that I've gotten, that's not fraud.
What money have they gotten? What money have they gotten?
So the federal government does not send money to the states to help with any of their migrant problems at all. That's not a fact.
Go look it up.
Yes, they do. They do send them money. Yeah, they do send them money. That's a fact.
Because they have to house them there. They have to house them there.
And so,
but what's the point of housing them in Texas or New York or Chicago or San Francisco?
Pass along the reason. Don't just go drop people off and then pass on the resources. If that's what you want to do.
Are they not getting resources up in New York City Chicago or San Francisco or LA?
For everyone that you drop off, pass along the resources that you got for that person, so that it can help the next city. But anyway, you don't just go drop people off places. I have a great
idea. Turn them away. Keep them from coming into the country so that problem wouldn't happen.
Let's turn away all migrants. And that's what we're doing. Let's turn away all of them. This is the whole point of the. Let's turn away the because they didn't ask to come here. The white South African, not to use that term,
the
refugees.
I told you at the beginning. I don't care if they come here or not. That's not my
sound
decision.
Pretty amicable. You sound really amicable to having these people. You're like, they're farmers. They know a craft. They have. That's what you said. Okay.
I'd rather have farmers than drug dealers and gang members.
Absolutely, anybody would. But what I don't understand, what are we equating that to? You just went to from one end of the spectrum to the other. There's no middle ground. You just said it's either this or this: farmers or drug dealers and gang members. Wow.
Well, no,
I mean, who are we talking about? Drug dealers and gang members. Who are we saying?
50,000 people as opposed to 13.7 million.
I don't know if there's 50. I don't know if there's 50,000 or not. I don't know the number. I have no idea what the number is on this. All I'm saying is,
you're going to sit here and say, "Oh my God, there are white people coming here. 50,000 white people."
I didn't say that.
But you don't even know the number, so it could be an insignificant amount.
It could be 12. It does not matter. It's the purpose behind it. What is he doing? Why is it that we are so negative on these groups of people. When he sat there in
Because
front of
they're
Roger
coming
Goodall,
here illegally.
he sat there in front of
That's the key word, Wesley. It's illegal to come into this country without going through the proper channels, is it not?
the people who went through the proper
100%
channels.
Yes. Period. End of story. Full stop. It's illegal.
The people who went through the proper channels, he's kicking them out too.
They did not.
He's kicking them out too. It's a fact. These are the people he are kicking out. He's kicking out first. He's meeting people at their court hearings for their immigration status and kicking them out the country. This is happening. It's happening.
Well,
they kicked out a mom.
So they're listed as deportable then, so therefore they can go bye-bye.
Right?
So they're at their court hearing, they get their due process, and then they go bye-bye.
No, it wasn't even their due process. They're going through the process of getting their legal status.
Where are your facts? I have yet to see a fact.
You can look all of this stuff up. We've reported on this on another show we do. It's called Uncommon Courtesy, but we reported on all this stuff. He's grabbing people and taking them like, hey, he grabbed people who wasn't deportable, who judges said this person is not deportable. He took them anyways. We gotta move on to some other stuff too. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. The other things that we're gonna talk about are telling us that he doesn't care about due process. He does not even want to deal with that. He's like, hey, if you guys don't pretty much do what I need you to do, I'm going to do what I want to do. It's a fact. We see this stuff. I'm shocked right now. I'm shocked, Steve. I'll tell you that right now. I'm shocked that you don't see this happen. I know you do. It's blatant. That's the part about it to me. It's like, man, this is blatant. And it's not a sympathy thing at all. I'm just trying to say, like, hey, we got to pay attention to this. If we love our country, pay attention.
I will say this. I'll say this. What I find blatant, Wesley, is the fact that they were let into this country illegally to begin with. We could have stopped all this shit back in 2020, 2021.
Wow, we could have stopped it in 2016.
We could
have stopped it in 2016. So the 3 million, the 3 or 4 million, the 3 or 4 million that Trump let in.
It was it not called Remain in Mexico?
3 or 4 million people that Trump let in, that came in under Trump's watch.
As opposed to 13.7.
I mean, I don't know. But
I don't know. That's your argument. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Well, my argument is, I believe that we should have a more of a rigorous, a broader immigration system that lets more people in. We need them. We need these people. This is a fact. Okay. You know what I mean? Like this is not even debatable fact that I'm saying. That's not me like, oh, I love migrants so much. It's the fact I love the country. The country needs influxion of people. It's a fact. Everyone will tell you this. Even Trump admitted it. I know we need migrants in this country. He knows it, but he just doesn't. He does not. He wouldn't even care if it was right. He does not want these particular people in this country. That's what it boils down to. He has said it out of his own mouth numerous times. He's shown you with his policy.
There's probably somebody from another country up in Trump Tower cleaning his golden toilet who's here legally.
Absolutely. They were making his clothes, they were making his ties, they were making everything for him in other countries. Listen, Trump is pushing an agenda of white nationalism. That's what he's pushing as our American agenda, and it does not work because it's gonna crater us going forward. It's not a good policy, period, for our country. That's what it boils down to, and that's how I look at it. I'm like, you know what? This is what you're pushing. This is what you see tainting the blood of America. This stuff you're saying, like, this is bad for the country as an overall thing. This isn't about.
I'll agree with that. I mean, some of the stuff he says is outrageous. I get it, and it's definitely not the right thing to say.
And it fuels.
A lot of times he's like an impetuous child who just says shit to say.
Oh, that sounds like Joffrey. Sounds like Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Like, we got Joffrey as the kid.
I thought you were going to say King Joffrey there for a second.
King Joffrey. That's a good one. I'll give you that one right there. That's a good one. But I'm saying that it's just, but we'll move on to the next topic. Yeah, I want to touch on the next topic here. So President Trump has this. This is something that I can't say that I agree or disagree with, but Trump has gone on and basically said that he wants to take some money that was meant for migrants, and he wants to turn a facility into a veterans homeless facility in California. And so this is a subject that I like I said, me personally, I have to learn more about it, but either way, I feel like, okay, it's a good thing because veterans do need a homeless facility. They need to be housed. They should be first on our list. But what do you feel about this?
Well, from being a veteran
topic.
myself, I'm thankful that I have a job. I'm thankful I have a home. I'm thankful I have a vehicle I
Thank
can
you for your
drive every
service.
day. Well, I appreciate that. But along those lines, we have thousands of homeless veterans, a lot of them with traumatic brain injuries, PTSD, who can't get a job, who are incapable of keeping a job because of those problems. I mean, these are real issues, and they've been going on for years and years and years in this country. And we, as the United States of America, who have suffered the loss of millions of soldiers over hundreds of years, why are we not taking care of them? Why are we not doing more to get them off the street? Why are we trying to take care of illegals that are coming into this country, spending more time on that than we are fixing the problems that we have here with our veteran homeless? Why is it not a good thing to be able to house 6,000 people in a facility that was made for veterans? Instead, they're using it for the UCLA baseball team. They're leasing it out to private companies. That's something that really needs to come back in and reimagine that for a place for these guys to go, to rehabilitate, to work on getting a job, building resumes, going to school, being able to pay for education. Because a lot of these guys, they get out of the military, they don't take advantage of the benefits we get as veterans. Especially injured vets. Probably half these guys don't even have disability benefits if they do have TBIs, because they don't go to get diagnosed. It's an epidemic.
And it's hard to get them.
It's
very hard to get the benefits, I hear, as well too. I know a bunch of guys who had to really fight to get their benefits because they try to trick you out of.
Yeah, sometimes it is. It's during Trump's first administration, I think it got a little bit better. I'm not saying that Biden did anything wrong, but there was a little bit of a slide in veterans care. I haven't looked to see what it's like now since Trump's taken over, but this is a step in the right direction, 100%. I mean, it needs to happen. These folks, they bled for our freedoms, period.
Yeah, I agree. I 110% agree. I think that veterans we should always honor our veterans as far as honoring our word to them, especially the ones who actually had to, be a part of combat of any sort, even any of that. I mean, they definitely need to be honoring their word to those people, because I couldn't imagine what they went through. I don't see this as a negative thing at all. I think that we definitely need to, I'm never a one way or the other type thing. So I think that we could do both. I think there definitely could, but we have a defense budget of about $1 trillion, man. Why aren't they using a little bit of that to deal with with veterans problems? Where's the money? We can't even come up with we don't even have they can't even, what's it called? They can't even, at the Pentagon, they haven't passed the audit in how long? We don't know where the money's going over here in these places, but they can't take care of the veterans. We couldn't have already built some shelters over this country.
I will say this.
The veterans.
Care has gotten much better. I'll give you an example. In my town, I live outside of Fort Benning in Columbus, Georgia, and they just built within the last 2 years a brand new VA facility here for folks like me who have a disability and get disability benefits. I had to travel over an hour away to go see anybody, and now we have an established clinic here in town where we don't have to travel that far. But those clinics are going up all over the country, and that's what's making. And I don't know about budgetary,
where the money's coming
numbers from. I don't know where that number comes from. There's Department of Veterans Affairs that gets a certain part of the budget. I don't necessarily think it comes from the defense budget, but again, I'm not privy to that information. But I do think going forward, I think it's a good thing for Americans. I mean, they always say take care of the least of us, right? And I'm all for that. Even with migrants, I have no problem with that. But there is a limit. there is a limit, right? We have to put limits on things because we as a country
there's not infinite resources. But I mean, let me say this as well too. During this administration, he's cut a lot of government jobs, which a lot of those government jobs are held by veterans. He's cut Veterans Affairs. He's cut a lot of different, he cut a huge portions of people who actually help veterans. So, I mean, this is a great step in the right direction. Putting it up in California, probably moving around resources that were in California, demanding, hey, we're not going to give you this. We want you to do this instead, which kind of, to me is like, okay, it's a great thing that you're doing, but it makes it very difficult for you to even be able to speak about it or say, oh, well, this money's supposed to go to migrants. Why isn't it going here? Or it's going to veterans. How do you can't debate that. Everyone's going to say, of course, take care of veterans first. However, why take money away from people who we're going to actually need in this country? A lot of them are probably already working here. And not to rehash this conversation, but I think that's what he did in that situation. Do I believe that Trump has a true heart for veterans? I mean, who's to say? Who's to say? In my eyes, I don't know.
No, I don't know either. I can't. No, I can't. I mean,
there's been a lot of different things said on both sides.
I go back to what he said about John McCain. He was way off base. I mean, completely off base.
Come on, man. I mean, look what he said about John Kelly. Look what they said about I mean, come on. He speaks. He tells you who he is when it comes to people. And a lot of times when you hear someone say something one time and then someone said they said it before that somewhere else, I tend to believe that's probably true. They probably did say that.
There has been stuff that said that wasn't true by the left. I mean, it came out in the media, in mainstream media.
Oh, yeah, I mean, absolutely.
True.
A lot of these,
but I'm not debating that. I'm not debating that.
Who were telling that he's saying.
What's that? You broke up there.
A lot of people were not leftist people who were saying this. A lot of people, these people were actually like people who worked for him. He hired them, and they said this about him. They said, "Hey, he said this." So, I mean,
but some of that stuff wasn't true either. I mean, that's come out in the wash over the last few years. So, I mean, I'm not going to debate that piece of it because I'm not there. I'm not in the room. That's hearsay. I can't judge anybody on hearsay. Nobody can. Right. So I'm staying away from that.
Absolutely.
Because that's not anything that I can judge, nor would I. But
yeah, and it's not for us to litigate really whether he said it or not.
No, but from a standpoint of his care or disdain for the military, I don't see a disdain for the military from his standpoint. I think he's trying to do as best he can to keep us out of certain situations. I think he's doing the best he can to make it a robust and cohesive military again. I think that, and that's another topic for another time, which we can certainly get into. But there is something to be said about esprit de corps, and in the military, that if that fades away, you are sorely lacking.
Can you tell us what that means?
Oh, esprit de corps, it's basically your cohesiveness as a unit, right? Okay. So you break the cohesiveness of a unit, that unit breaks down, people can get hurt. That's all there is to it. But I think he's going away from the Biden era military doctrine where he was allowing all different woke ideology, and I hate to use that word. It's a terrible word to use, but it's the only one I have right now. But I mean, I don't like the word. I don't like the word woke. I think it's a ridiculous word, to be honest with you, because it has no meaning to today's topics at all.
Yeah, I got you.
But I do think, and I truly believe this in my heart. I do a lot of motorcycle rides for veterans groups. We have a bunch of veterans motorcycle clubs here in the area, and we ride with them, and we donate, and we donate time, money, resources that we can, because they are an important part of our society. Veterans are
absolutely
a very important part of our society, and we don't treat them well. We haven't for years. All that goes all the way back to people coming back from Vietnam. I think the Vietnam War is really what crippled veterans from getting the respect that they're due. because the Vietnam War was looked so poorly upon by American citizens.
They said that, like, I mean, even like during like World War I and World War II, I believe, that a lot of people who are not, this is like, I know I tend to bring up, racial divide issues, but this is one of them, that a lot of black GIs were not given the same,
probably not. They probably weren't. I 100%
they lost
agree
about
with that.
$4.5 trillion in wealth based upon the fact that they were not given the same, housing, bills, all the different education things that they were not given that. And so, I mean, I think that that's something. And how do you fix that at this $4.5 trillion in wealth? That's a lot. That's just from that right there. That's not including a lot of other things, but this is not to get into rehab. I'm just saying this is showing that this has been going on within the military for a long time. The disrespect to the military service members has been going on for a very long time in this country. And I do agree that it's time for us to start respecting service in this country the way we're supposed to, not just
one of the things I will say is you can't fix the past. Okay, you can't. Yeah. No amount of money, no amount of resources is going to fix what happened in the past. It's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is those decisions were made. The only thing to do is to change things going forward. You make decisions that will benefit everybody going forward, and based on the mistakes of the past. But you can't change it. You can't change the past.
No, absolutely. You can never change the past, but you can. That's why you can help to sort of mitigate and repair parts of the damage that's been made. That's why you have lawsuits. That's why you have lawsuits and everything else. I mean, that's the past could be 3 years ago, and the person got in a car accident, and maybe you crippled them, and maybe now you have to pay for that crippling effect because it's going to affect them and the rest of their family for generations to come. So that's my argument about that. But like I said, I definitely do think that this is something that is a good thing. I have nothing negative to say about it. Maybe so I don't have anything else to really speak on about this subject at all, because I think that honestly we agree that this is a great thing that they're doing. I
really do. And I get where you're coming from. You're a little bit apprehensive because it's California, it's money, it's Trump, it's decisions that you may or may not agree with how they spend that money. But if you look at it from a 30,000 foot level, it's the right thing to do.
I mean, absolutely. It's been the right thing to do for years. This should have been this. Every state should have these popping up everywhere in every single state. It shouldn't just be the first place I'm going to go and move the money from is this place right here. Do it everywhere. I want to see 10 states on the list.
I agree. I think
tiny homes, whatever we need to do.
We have a lot of organizations that do wonderful things for vets. Homes of Towers, Wounded Warriors Project, and a lot more that I probably don't even know about. Mm-hmm. But it's a tight knit community. Veterans are a tight knit community because from the part of the population that are able to serve or willing to serve, they sacrifice everything to serve, and that to me that's an important thing. I don't want to dwell on this. I'm just going to say this: when those 13 people in Afghanistan came back, they were getting offloaded off the plane in their caskets, and Biden was looking at his watch during that ceremony. It hurt me dearly because those were 13 service members that did not need to die. And I was offended by that. And that's just a personal opinion. I'm not going to debate that. That was something personal to me that I was offended by. So, but I'm also offended if Donald Trump said the shit that he said. I don't like the fact that he said that about John McCain back in 2016 or 2017, whatever it was. I don't agree with that. I think it was the wrong thing for him to do. It set him back. But again, taking care of vets, I think, in this country is of the utmost importance. And not just vets, but homeless people in general. We have millions of homeless people in this country, and it's an epidemic.
We do. We absolutely do. And I think that, I mean, this as a partisan thing, the fact of the matter is to me is that you tend to only hear that from Republicans when it's talked about when money's being set aside for something else. Oh, what about these people over here? You don't hear about it as a campaign slogan. You don't hear about it as this is what they're coming in to talk about and to fix. Never. You never hear about this. You know what he's doing right now.
Part of that is Leslie, is because it is a smaller fraction of the American population. It is a less than probably 1% of the population but it's veteran homeless.
Okay, not just veteran homes. I'm talking about homeless in general. Homeless in general. You know what I mean? They use this as like a marching order. Oh, look at California and look at all the homeless people who live in California. They use it kind of as a negative, a derogative way to speak.
No, I get that. Yeah.
You know, this is how it's used on the right. So I wish that I know. I
wish
part
of that is how those states are governed. Okay.
I think
part of that. I mean, they can clean up homelessness when the Chinese are coming to town. Okay. They did it.
We have to also understand that these states have, like, California would be like the 5th largest economy in the entire world if California broke away from the United States right now. They have the largest population in the United States by far.
By the way, I'd be okay with it.
I mean, we would lose so much by losing California. California it takes care of a lot of red states who do not pay anything into the federal government at all. I think
we're Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom's already about to lose himself. He's about to be out of here as governor. He's not. There's nothing else for him. Maybe he might be a senator one day.
He might be your next president.
No way. I don't think he's even going to run for president. I don't think so. I think Gavin understands that your poll numbers are.
That pretty boy is going to run for president. Why do you think he's starting up this little podcast he's got going on where he's
trying to rebrand himself? He's trying to rebrand himself. You cannot rebrand yourself with me once you start taking parents' rights away from their kids and things of that nature. You can't rebrand yourself with me. I'm sorry. This is who you are. I don't care what you did. You can't rebrand yourself with me once you said yes about reparations and then you backtracked on that. You can't rebrand yourself with me when it comes to that. It's not going to happen. So I wouldn't vote for Gavin.
I'm going to suggest we get to the juicy one that you want to bring up.
No, absolutely. I was moving on.
Let's bring it.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay. The Trump administration has swung the idea of suspending habeas corpus if the judges they say Stephen was what's his name? Stephen
Miller.
Miller has said basically that Stephen Miller basically said that, hey, we're willing to look at suspending habeas corpus if the judges don't do the right thing. So what do you think about the Trump administration looking at possibly suspending habeas corpus if the judges don't make the decision that they think the judges should make about due process? Because that's what habeas corpus is the right to due process in our country.
Right. So it has been suspended once in our country's history, and that was by Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War.
During wartime.
Okay.
Okay.
But also, if you look in the Constitution, it does allow for habeas corpus to be suspended for invasions. Okay. And that's where they're taking it. They've already tried to use the Alien Enemies Act, right? Which also mentioned invasions. So they're saying that because we had no. Invasion period. It's not.
No, I'm just saying, but it was, but they were used by.
It was a wartime act, right?
If you're being invaded, it's a war. If you're going to be
based upon that number I gave you earlier, Leslie, 13.7 million people allowed in this country is a bit of an invasion.
Well, then we can add. We can look at 4 million as being an invasion. We can look at 500,000. 100,000 could be an invasion. If a country sends 100,000 troops to your borders, that's an invasion, right or wrong? So we can look at any number as an invasion. Then that could be 100% stipulated at any given time.
You're also looking at those people are not here legally. Okay.
And they're not here, but they're also not enemy combatants at the same time. It's not looked at as an invasion.
I'm not saying as a percentage of 13.7 million, it's probably a small percentage that are really an issue, that are really a problem. And we've talked about the gang, the MS-13, Tren Aragua. We've talked about that till we're blue in the face. But really, that's the crux of it. That's the crux of that invasion. We see how much damage they have wrought in those communities where they were at. I don't see a problem with getting rid of them.
I don't see a problem with getting rid of them, but I see a problem with getting rid of the of due process. I see a problem with the president who's trying to use issues that are convenient to him to use when he had 4 million people. That means he had 1 million people a year. Oh yeah, I mean, it's in wartime or in time of invasion. In wartime or in time of invasion, I guess that's how it reads. I'm not absolutely sure, but I know it says wartime. Yeah. This is our wartime acts. We're not at war. We're not. I'm sorry. Whether or not he likes to liken it to that. If we're at war, where are you going to go and fly out? Why are you going to fly in chartered flights for more refugees to come here if it's such a problem? Why are we doing that?
Not okay? Do you not consider bringing fentanyl in this country a problem? Is that not an invasion? Is that not hurting our?
I don't consider it an invasion.
How many thousands of people get killed by fentanyl overdoses every year?
I do not. How many people die from just regular pharmaceutical companies have invaded our country themselves, and they've killed hundreds of thousands of people themselves. Pharmaceutical companies. I don't consider it an invasion.
Those are legal drugs. Those are legal drugs. Are they not? That's a complete separate thing. That's a dichotomy of what you're talking about. Because we're talking about illegal drugs, not pharmaceuticals. Illegal drugs coming into this country.
So what I'm saying is,
we're not talking about the opioid, people getting prescribed opioids and dying. Because
fentanyl is an opioid. Fentanyl is an opioid.
It is, but it's also coming in illegally.
And fentanyl also is also. I got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean it's all part and parcel of what I look at as an invasion. The drug cartels are invading this country with. And
this country, honestly, this country would not even survive without that happening. We all know that the government's been involved with the drug trade in this country for years. They know that the drugs are coming in. They're complicit in bringing the drugs in. Without the drugs, we don't have the prison system. We don't have a lot of other control systems that we have in this country. It's not like they don't know. It's not like this is not an intrinsic part of American life. This is a very, very important part of American life. They built Miami with drug money. I'm not trying to say it's a good thing. I'm not trying to say fentanyl is a good thing. I think it's a horrible thing, but it's not an invasion. It's just not. I mean, was crack cocaine an invasion during the 80s and 90s when it was killing the black community? No one cared. Yes. They said, you know what? You know what they did? They made harsher. They made harsher drug laws.
Reagan back in the 80s, Reagan did try and quell some of that.
But he's the one who helped bring it in.
No, he wasn't. It was the CIA that was helping to bring that in.
To fight wars for him. They didn't.
You know damn well that CIA does crap that nobody knows about, not even the president.
I think the president was complicit, and he helped Oliver North. I mean, he helped a lot of people with things that we know that this. I don't look at Ronald Reagan as an innocent president at all, not even a little bit. I think he knew a number of different things. I'm not going to say he was involved in the drug trade thing they had going on there, but I think he turned a blind eye to a lot of it because due to a political expedience in other areas. Take care of this problem. Hurry up and take care of it quietly. Get it done. But all I'm saying is this:
the war on drugs did exist back in the 80s. I mean, that was
existed in the 70s.
You and I grew up with that. Yeah, you and I grew up with the war on drugs.
I mean, Nixon was the one who brought it about, and he brought it about for what? For what purpose? To destroy certain communities. He said with communities that they were going after, just like what was that? Herbert Hoover. This was all a part of what they had a certain group of people, hippies and blacks. You know what I mean? They wanted to destroy. This is why they brought the war on drugs. This is a factual. What I'm saying is this right here. It's not an invasion. We can easily, we had a bill that they passed to slow down or if not stop the fentanyl problem, because most people who are bringing the drugs in this country are Americans. Americans are bringing the drugs into this country. It's not the Mexican drug cartel. I'm not trying to say that they're not the catalyst behind it, but these are American citizens that are bringing drugs in here. So it's all I'm saying is this is not an invasion. He's talking about suspending the right of due process, so he can just go pick up who he wants off the street.
Are you okay? Are you okay with gang violence from Mexican and Venezuelan and El Salvadorian gangs? Are you okay with it? I'm just asking that question. That's a serious question.
Okay, it's a serious question. Okay, of course not. But I'm not okay with suspending due process for a fractional amount of crime.
That right there tells me you don't care that they're in this country. You don't. You don't care.
If I don't want to suspend habeas corpus, people's right. That's all people's right. He's not just talking about, because you guys like to tend to say, oh, he's just talking about the migrants' rights. He's not. He's already told us he wants to take United States citizens out of this country. You guys give him an inch because you want to believe something, but he takes a mile every single time. He takes more than a mile. He does it every time. And other people who know who he's talking about.
You on the left want to hide people. You want to keep them in sanctuary cities. You want to let them live in this country and take all our resources. And they don't give a goddamn. They don't give a goddamn who gets hurt doing it. Yes, I am.
Right now.
How many people you want me to bring up that have been killed by gang members over the last 4 years, 5 years?
This is what I'm gonna say, and it's a very, very,
very
minute
there you go.
amount.
Now you're gonna sit there.
It's
and
a fact of the matter. It is. So are you okay? So you're telling me that so if 3 million people came in here, but 30 people died from migrants coming, that's just, oh my God, the migrants, those million migrants are horrible. They're the worst. American citizens kill way more people than that.
I didn't say that.
That's pretty much what you're trying to say.
No, but they are here illegally, period. End of story. Therefore, they are killing American citizens. Why should we let them stay in this country? Why?
No one's saying that. No one, but you're making an argument. No one's saying. No one's like, hey, bring me the drug dealers. Bring me. What they're saying.
You cannot send these people out.
No, they're saying that. No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying they have rights. When you enter this country, you have rights. That's a normal thing. We're a law. We're a nation of laws. That's what we are. This has been going on forever. This is not. They're not saying we don't want them to have to leave. No, they're saying they have due process because they're just saying people are gang members.
Should Joe Biden be convicted? Should Joe Biden be convicted for not following federal law?
In what sense?
By letting 13.7 million people into this country illegally.
Well, every president should be convicted. Then Every one of the presidents should be convicted.
He didn't
all
even follow the
every
law
single one of
at
them.
all.
You know what I mean? He changed an executive order, which was the stay in Mexico order that Trump put in place. He changed that, which is his right to do.
But he also allowed 13.7 billion illegals into this country.
You keep using that number. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna allow that number to keep being thrown out there. I'm gonna allow that number to keep being thrown out there, even though we don't know if it's true. But I'm going to allow the number because I use the 4 million, you use 13.7. All right, whatever. And that's like 3 times more. Everybody has a number now. We all know they do. He says, what does he say? 20. I think it was more than 20 million people. He changes the number every other day. This is your guy. Next thing you know, it's going to be 100 million people. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, we got 100 million.
You gloss over the fact that he willingly went against federal law, immigration law.
What was the federal immigration law? What was it?
You want me to bring it up?
No, I'm just asking, like, what was the law? No, you don't have to pull. I'm just asking so I understand what we're talking about exactly. Like, what law was the?
Because he let people come in any which way he wanted to, instead of going through the correct channels, going through the correct ports of call for people who wanted actual asylum.
So basically, he just did
it's not asylum because you want to make money. It's not asylum. Asylum for not making money in another country is not a reason to come to the United States and being allowed in. Okay.
No one's saying that. I don't think anyone.
That's bullshit. Why do you think all the money that they make here goes back there?
They got family. They have family who lived in those countries. They're poor too. They're trying to help out. They're also taking care.
But they're not here. They're not here because they're being persecuted. They're here because they're not making any money down there, and that's not a reason to come into this country for asylum.
I don't think that's the whole. Just because I send money back to my family. So if you send money to someone, that doesn't mean you're not going through a bad. You've never had a bad time yourself, like a really bad time, persecution, things. I'm not saying persecution because that's changed. It's different for us. Have you ever helped someone? Have you ever helped someone
I have.
When you weren't in a situation to help someone?
Yes.
These are what these people are doing, man. That's
again, but they're not doing it legally. They come into this country under the auspices of I'm being persecuted, but they're not. They're coming here. Yes, they're trying to make a better life for themselves and their family. I get it. And
how do we know they're not being persecuted? How do we know that they're not being persecuted?
How
do we know that?
Mexico, do you think are being persecuted?
I mean, we tend to think that the whole country is. They're like the drug lords. This is what Trump says. He's about to send in troops because the drug lords reign supreme down there, and they're killing and murdering, doing whatever they want. Honestly, when you think about it, I think they had like what was a few. This was some years back. It was like 30,000 people died there in a matter of like maybe a couple years or something like that. Do we think there's not a lot of persecution going on?
You're not allowed to apply for asylum if the only reason you're coming to this country is to make money.
No one's saying
that's not a reason.
But you just made that reason up and said that everyone's doing that now, pretty much. I didn't say
I
everyone.
didn't make that reason up. That's a rule. That's part of the asylum process.
No, I'm saying that you just said that that's what they're doing. No one's can't. That's like
I would say the majority of them coming into this country are doing that
to make money.
They
love to come here to make. You think that's a negative thing to come somewhere to make money? I'm not saying that that's their only reason. I'm not saying that's the only reason that they're coming this country. I think a lot of these people have actually applied for legal status. I think a lot of them have. I think a lot of them have gone through the process and trying to get
because they've been allowed to do it. They've been allowed to try and come into this country legally. But
and
asylum is
let me. So you're good with these guys talking about if the judges don't rule the way I think you should rule, I'm gonna suspend due process. You're good with that?
I didn't say I was good with it.
I mean,
do I understand where they're coming from? Yeah, I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to get people out of this country that don't need to be here. Okay?
Well, what does that mean? You understand what they're trying to do? So do you agree with it, or do you agree with the thing? That's because you're glossing around this and you're like skating around this right here, and I'm not sure why. It's like
you should know because you're great at it. You should know because you're great at that.
I mean, like this. Do you care about due process and the rule of law?
Hey, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Okay.
Do you care about due process in the rule of law in this country? Do you care about that? This is not just about migrants. This is about American citizens. If I get rid of due process, that means everybody's due process. That means they're already saying I can come into your house without a warrant and look for migrants in your home.
They're not talking about American citizens. They're not talking about doing it for American citizens. They're talking about This
is once I get rid of, I'm not just gonna be like, hey, this is just for migrants. That's not what they're writing into this. They're gonna do this I got the access to do this for whoever I want. When it's done, it's done. It's not being written in.
Are you worried that they're gonna walk up to your door and say, Wesley, come with me? Are you really worried about that?
Yes. Yes, I'm gonna tell you why. Because we've noticed.
Maybe you because you're on the left. I think maybe they're trying to get rid of everybody on the left.
Any American citizen should worry about that. Once one person does it, once you allow one president to do it, it could wait. Now let's say a radical left-wing president gets in office. This could be the same exact thing. We could be having a different conversation right now. I'm looking at it from a totality standpoint. Like, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it, or you. None of you guys. This is America. Me personally, I'm not bending over because I like I like your policy, so I'm going to bend over and let this happen to these people. I think who it's going to happen to, because when it changes, it's going to come right back around and smack me in the face. And I got to remember that. So I'd rather not ever happen. Let's not ever break these norms, because that's how I look at life when it comes to America. Like I say, my loyalty is to this country.
All those people into the country. The norm was broken. The norm was already broken. You guys did it. You guys broke the norm. You let 13.7 million people into this country illegally. That broke the norm right there. Period.
So the norm was just 3 or 4 million a year. Just 3 or 4. Just 3 or 4 million a year.
Start ice skating around it.
What I'm saying is, so the norm was just 3 or 4 million a year. 3 or 4 million during the president's term. That was a norm. So him increasing it allegedly by whatever he increased it by, changed that norm to a point to where now you can suspend.
Did he try and stop it? Yes, he tried to stop it. He tried to suspend that. You're not going to stop everybody. But when you open the damn gates and let everybody in, they're going to come in.
Now our rights as Americans should be impeded upon.
Their rights should be impeded upon. Yes.
No, I mean,
people that come here illegally should be impeded upon.
I mean, we have due process in this country, and I'm hoping that we keep that for everyone. I'm hoping that doesn't ever change, because once it can change for them, it could change for us. When they feel a certain kind of way, you know what? You guys went for it this time. I'm gonna see how much further I can take it next time. That's what they'll do. And they're not asking for this for migrants. They're saying in general, period, plain and simple. I can detain whoever I want. They detained an American citizen. I keep on bringing it. They detained an American citizen in Miami, took the kid in. His parents brought his birth certificate. He was born in this country, 100% citizen of this country. They brought in his birth certificate. The judge said, hey, release him right now. I said, no, we're not releasing him. We kept him longer until they felt like letting him go. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of stuff can happen. It is happening in this country right now. That should be a problem to everybody.
But do you understand why they did that?
No, I think that's illegal. They should not be able to have that kind of power to supersede. He was a citizen of this country. He was detained because they said he was not a citizen.
Do you think the president of the United States has the power to circumvent federal law?
Do I think he has the power? I mean, circumvent it in what regard? In
by
what regard?
By ignoring it.
As a whole, do I think? I mean, depending upon, I think the circumstances he does. The circumstances permits him to do that. The circumstances.
What circumstances give him the right?
Extreme. I would say extreme emergencies, like whether it's invasion, whether it's some type of a war, whether.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You said he has the right to do it if it's an invasion.
We don't have an invasion. This is what he's trying. We're not being invaded.
13.7 million people.
We're not being invaded. I mean, so he should. So that means that we cannot. The numbers do not make it an invasion. It just doesn't. It'd be like, okay, if I can say 100 people are an invasion. Whatever I choose.
I go back to a president of the United States willfully ignored federal law. Willfully. That's the key word.
I don't know about that one. I won't say he ignored it. I will say that he stopped the remain in Mexico part of an executive order, which he superseded that with his own executive order and did that. And then he went and got a bill made.
The executive order was only to send people and keep Mexico in line to keep those people from crossing over the border. That's what that was for. Immigration federal law is what he ignored and he circumvented by letting those people come in and try and come in for asylum, which he knew damn well they weren't coming in lawfully.
He brought them in to seek asylum because you got Haitians, they're not looking for asylum. Cubans, they're not looking for asylum. Venezuelans, they're not looking for asylum. Let's be real. Those are just countries that we can look at right there and say, yeah, you probably are looking for asylum in this country. I would even say El Salvadorians, with the way their president's doing business, they're probably running from him too. He's rounding people up, even people who aren't even a part of the gangs. He don't care who it is, and he's doing exactly what Trump is trying to do. He suspended all due process in his country. The same thing Trump wants to do. We're not there as America. I'm sorry.
Is it legal to do that as a sitting president? Is it legal or not legal?
I think the way he's going about it is illegal. No, that's different. I think everyone wants to have safe borders. I think we should secure our borders. That has nothing to do with it.
Not only that, but
we also need law.
Our community should be safe too. Our community should be our number one concern.
I mean, absolutely.
We have people out there that are a threat to those communities. And we've seen it over the
American citizens are the biggest threat to our communities that we have. That's the fact. Not even close of it being migrants. My problem, I'm not trying to say there's none. I'm not trying to say that they should not be policing the borders much better. I'm not trying to say we need bills in place, laws, not just presidents coming to make an executive order.
There's already laws in place on the books.
We've had this talk for years. Everyone, not just me and you, but everyone who run for president, everyone has had these. George W. Bush talked about immigration policy. This has been going on for a long time, talking about actually changing immigration policy.
Obama said there should not be any illegal immigration. Clinton said no illegal immigration.
No, nobody. I don't. Honestly, I'm not for illegal immigration.
But not Biden. Biden didn't say that. Not one time in the 4 years that he was president did he say anything about illegal immigration being wrong. Not one time.
I feel like we need robust immigration reform, major, and in order to keep our country solvent. The fact of the matter is, we talk about this subject from a.
I have no problem with that. Leslie, I'm all for it. I'm all for changing immigration law. I'm all for changing immigration law. But we have laws in place now. Until those change, you can't be a sitting president and ignore those laws. You can't. You can't
I don't feel like he ignored them. I feel like he just did not enforce. I mean, he just did not do what Trump's trying to do.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing.
I don't think that's
ignoring or not enforcing is the same thing.
I don't think that's ignoring. I don't think that if I sit back and I'm like, you know what, we're not about to chase around people at the border. This is not what we're going to do. This is not where our focus is at. That's not ignoring the law, period. It's not. And if I tell people, hey, we're gonna set, because a lot of these people who came here were told that they can seek asylum here, which was a fact. He gave them that opportunity. They came and they did that, and now they're being persecuted. Now they're being no, a lot of them came the right way. A lot of them did. And just because you come to hey, Trump has already shown people, we don't care how you came here. I don't care if you damn near got your green card. You're going there to get your green card tomorrow. If you ain't got it right now, I'm coming to get you. He's shown us this. He doesn't want any of these people here, but he showed you who he does want here. Do we want to talk? We want to have this last discussion about the Newark officials who were
and
sent to jail.
We'll do this one real quick because there's been reports on both sides of this, right? There's reports that these Democrats got a tour, right? They went in and they said, "Oh, the place is great," yada yada yada. Then the other report is there was a bus of people coming in that were being shipped in on from wherever they were picked up at, coming into the facility, and they went and tried to rush the bus and tried to start physical entanglements with law enforcement, ICE officials.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I saw a little
I'm
video.
Not saying, yeah. So there's body cam video footage of it. So to me, this is what the left is all about. Okay, all they want to do is make sure, and I think they go about it the wrong way. You don't need to have protests every 5 minutes. You don't need to have violence in the street every 5 minutes. You don't have to have people getting their ass kicked every single day at a protest. It's ridiculous. But on the left, I mean, and I know what you're going to say. You're going to be, oh, well, January 6th. That's your go-to, and I get it. That's the go-to.
That wasn't even a protest. That wasn't a riot. That wasn't any of that. It was something larger than that, honestly. But go ahead.
What I'm saying is Democrats don't have a damn clue. They have nothing to go on except that. That's all they want to talk about. Tell me one person on the left in politics today that has said anything worth a damn. And don't tell me AOC and Bernie Sanders out on their come together tour, whatever you want to call it.
Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. I can keep going. You want me to keep going?
Joe Biden. He doesn't even know where he is most of the time.
Has he aged a great deal? Yes, but Joe Biden has done a lot of great things for this nation. I think that honestly, people, like I said, they'll look back on Joe Biden again as being one of the best statesmen.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, this country is built.
Joe Biden put more black people in prison than any person in the world.
This country was built off of racism. This country was built off the backs. This country was built off the backs.
I would say Joe Biden was probably exactly what
of slavery. Do I believe that this country? I'm gonna tell you. I'm be honest with you. I deal.
Do you think Joe Biden's racist?
I think he has been. I think a lot of people have racist tendencies in this country. I think that we as black people have had to vote for races, the difference between two races, people for a very long time. This has been our norm. This is not new to us. So when it's being brought up and people are actually acknowledging that they know that this is what this is, so the people who actually are supposed to be on our side are still racist. So you understand that both sides are racist. Let me finish up real quick here. So this is a norm for us. This is like regular. You know what I mean? It's like walking into a room and you got you're like, hey, which one do I vote for? Yeah, so this is, so we've gotten to a point to where we look at the lesser of two evils when it comes to that part of it, because Lyndon B. Johnson was a racist. But I mean, the lesser of two evils when it comes, I'm talking about from a racist standpoint. I'm not saying from an actual policy standpoint. Policy is a little bit different. We might have to vote for the racist guy who just got a little bit better policy for us this time. You know what I mean? But so that's that. Yeah. So that's not something that I'm really. I have to like objectively look at that all the time. So because that's this country. However, when I look at it, sometimes you look at a person like Joe Biden, his career changed because of black people. If you look at it, when Barack Obama came in, because Joe Biden couldn't even stay in a presidential primary for too long. He get 1% of the vote. He's out before Super Tuesday or any of this stuff. He's out in January. So This has happened numerous times. He said that Barack Obama was not ready to be president, and so go back and look at that. And Barack kind of put his head down because he knew that he needed this guy, because this guy had the face
win,
to help him win that. So his first come to Jesus moment. I'll just use that as a terminology, or come to whoever you pray to, or whatever the case may be, was when Barack Obama brought him in and said, "Hey, you can be my vice president." His second one was when he went and got Kamala Harris, and when was it John Claiborne out of South Carolina helped him win South Carolina because Bernie Sanders was going to beat him in the primary to become the Democratic nominee. His third one, his third one was when Kamala Harris became his vice president to help. Yeah, George Clyburn. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, sir. John Clyburn, I think his name. But then Kamala helped him become president. So do I believe that his ideology, his understanding of what it is to be, American citizen changed over time? Yes, I think it did. I think it came to a point where he's like, damn, these people have helped me go further in my career and get to places where I never could have gotten to by myself. Does he say stupid stuff like, hey, you're not black if you don't do this, because you're sitting in a room with other black people who probably said that around you, and now you're not intelligent enough to not spout that off because you still have those tendencies in you? Yeah. But this is but did you also put more federal black judges on the bench than anyone else? Did you also have the first Secretary of Defense, or I believe Defense Secretary, who was black in this country? Yes, you did. He did a lot of great things when it came to that, though. So I got to look at it from a different standpoint when I talk about the person who said, what do you say, turned into a jungle back in the day. Yeah, things change. I mean, when I was younger, I did a lot of stupid stuff. Do what I do them now? No, because my outlook on life has changed drastically.
But you still say a lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe to the right, it might be something that everyone else loves what I say. The people who really, really understand what's going on in this country, they love it. You know what I mean? But that's how I feel about something like that. But are these people in Newark right there? Do I believe they probably interjected themselves in to kind of give the whole veneer, the look of I'm doing something? Because you had those 25 people who were on, I think they're like from Maryland. You hear about that? Where it was like a bunch of women tried to stop the ICE agents from taking a mother. It was like in Maryland or one of those northeastern states. People are starting to get to the point where they're fighting back about this. Like, hey man, you guys are just grabbing people. These people are members of our community. They're not hurting anyone. This is a problem here. I understand they came here illegally. I get that part. But if you're not hurting anyone and you're actually contributing to this country and you're actually trying to become a legal, have legal status in this country, what are we doing? What are we doing? That doesn't make sense. I'm going to take you away from your baby who's a few months old, what sense is this making here for us? How is that helping America? It doesn't.
I'll tell you this. I guess it does. In some respects, it does. And this is how. If you look, the way ICE goes about their business, there are laws behind that. Okay, there are protocols behind what they do, but people that want to interject themselves, that's not the way to do it. That only makes the situation worse.
Absolutely, gets my hurt too. So somebody's gonna get hurt one
day.
Let
the process go through play. Let the process proceed. Let it go through. And if it winds up being that person was picked up in the wrong way, hold on. There are investigations done. There are protocols to be followed. There's documentation everywhere. Mm-hmm. All right. There's a reason that they go after these people. There are. But I'm not in that organization. I'm not in ICE. I'm not in INS. I'm not part of that system. So I don't know what happens. But I do know what happens when other people outside of it get involved. People get hurt.
Absolutely. Period. I mean, and what I'm gonna say,
it's asinine. It's asinine for people like these Democrats that went to Newark to go to that facility and protest and then start a problem. That's ridiculous. There's no reason for it. The only reason they did it was for the clickbait, for the news highlights. That's it.
I can't say that
they don't give a damn about those people.
I won't say that. I won't say they don't care about the people. I won't say that, because I think some people actually. I won't say they don't care about the people. Because that's speaking on someone else's, how they personally view or see things. I'd be like me saying that you don't personally care about something that you may or may not. I don't know if you do or don't. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't say it, but that's how I look at it. I don't know if they really care about the people or not. Because the Newark mayor may be a first generation migrant. We don't know. It might be something that really. There's a guy who I saw on television. He was like, you know what? The reason why I'm pushing back on this is because I'm a son of a migrant. This could be my parents. This could be, that's how. So people have different feelings about the situation.
But why would you sit there and try and go against people that are part of law enforcement? That's effing ridiculous.
I'm watching these guys do things that I think are illegal. I'm looking at these guys doing. I mean, they grabbed the girl, the Turkish woman off the street because they said that she wrote a paper about the Palestinians. And they're doing things. I would go against that. I think that's, what are you doing? You got, and they're more than happy to do it. And that's the part about it to me. I'm looking at you guys like, in all honesty, you guys are becoming the new slave catchers in my eyes. I mean, that's how I'm looking at them at this point in time, because I see that you're not really following law. The reason why they know where most of these people are because they're going through the process. They know where they're going to their homes because because there's paperwork. There's
documentation. Saying, hey, there's documentation saying that they're here illegally.
No, they're saying that they're going through the process of trying to become a legal citizen. So that's why they know where they are. That's why this is what they already admitted. We're going to go and find the people that we already know where you are because you're actually going through the right process of trying to become a lawful member of our society. We know where you're at. We're going to go get you out of here first. That's the messed up part about it.
So what do you say about people that have overstayed their visas?
That's not even a crime. That's like a civil crime. That's not even a real crime. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even something that, so a person overstays your visa.
What happens when you overstay your visa?
I mean,
what law is it that when you overstay your visa, what happens to you?
You should be kicked out. And then at the same time, not only kicked out the country, they make it so you can't come back here for a certain amount of time. They do that. And other countries, they do the same thing.
Because there are laws in place with it.
But sometimes you know that some countries, I'm not sure if it's done here, that if you do overstay your visa, you have to just pay more money to redo your visa and get a longer stay. It just costs you more.
But that's not the
I'm not saying that it's here. I'm just saying, I mean, it depends upon if a person got a visa here. I understand. If a person got a visa here and they were able to come here and the visa was a work visa and they overstayed it or whatever the case may be, they didn't get it renewed in time. I'm not mad if they had to pay a couple extra dollars to stay here a little bit longer. I wouldn't care.
I'm not either. But if they didn't do it, but if they're here illegally over a period of time, then yes, that's a problem. Because they didn't follow. I don't disagree. The rules.
I don't disagree that that we like I say, we need better. Our immigration is getting to the point where it takes 6 years. 6 years in order for people to go through to become a legal. That's just too long. That's forever. No, I mean, it's a long time. I mean, but it's because of a backlog. It's not because the process is that. It's because of a backlog. That's the problem. We need to expedite the processes of this whole thing. If it's taking 6 years, man, how much money is that costing us? Think about how much supervision when that person has to be on. We could cut down a lot of this by making the process cleaner. I mean, we could save money by making the process cleaner.
Well, if we didn't have 13.7 million people to deal with, it would be cleaner.
Oh man, this was going on before that. This was going on before this. Everyone's been talking about immigration reform for decades. This is not a new thing.
Yes. But the problem is we are a nation of laws. Those laws need to be followed. And if they don't,
are they? I didn't know we were nation laws. The way you were talking about getting rid of due process.
Nation
the way you're like, hey, that's fine. Get rid of due process.
They didn't follow the law to begin with. I agree. Did they follow the law to begin with?
I won't say all of them. I don't know how many of them did or didn't. I don't know how many of them tried to get on asylum rolls. So if you came over the border illegally with no kind of, you're just in the country, yeah, you should get out of here. Absolutely.
100%.
Period. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not saying that person who's just trying to be under the radar moving, to me, you're already moving funny. You already need, you got something's not right about you.
But here's the thing: if that's the case, then what's the problem with suspending habeas corpus for those people?
Because it's not for those people. It's not like but even suspending for those people even suspending them for those people would be illegal because that's not the way it's set up. It's not once you cross our borders. No, I didn't say. I said I'm okay. Absolutely, send them through the process and get them gone. Send them through the process and get them out of here. You know what I mean? I'm absolutely good with that because there might be a reason. Because there might be a reason.
Because there might be a reason. Process to begin with. If they're not following the process to begin with, why should we go through a process to get them out?
because there might be a reason they didn't go to the park. We don't know. I don't know what happened. It could be anything. It could be sex trafficking. It could be any reason a person just trying to flee and get away, and we don't know. There's stuff that goes on in Mexico to these people when they're just trying to get through Mexico. You imagine that you're you're from, I keep using Venezuela. When you're traveling up through, imagine what you're going through, traveling up through that whole entire process. If a person just has to run and get away and figure out how to get there, I'm not mad about that. Let's figure out what's going on with you and go from there. I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's happening for everyone. It might just be a person who they just wanted to be here illegally. Cool.
Hey,
send them through the process.
They can apply. They can go to an embassy, U.S. embassy somewhere, and say, "Hey, I want to apply for asylum." Instead of coming across illegally, they have the wherewithal to go in their own country or to go to
a lot of times. I think that we clean up. We clean up situations to a degree that I think sometimes it's just not always that clean. It may not always be as dirty as I think it is either. It might, you know what I mean? But I think that we make situations just, you can do this, this, and this. A lot of people don't have those. I mean, sometimes if I'm somewhere in a different country, I might be able to see on that level or think on that level because I'm already thinking that way. But if I'm not, I meet people, man, like we have a good education system in our country, whether we like to believe so or not, we do. A lot better, because you go other places, you talk to people and they don't know a lot of stuff, man. Like basic stuff, because because it's not a part of their basic education system. It's not a part of a lot of things, and they don't see things at all. Yeah, they don't see things exactly, and they don't see things in the way that we do. And so for us to utilize, our Harvard education you got over there now, so you have to utilize your Harvard education. I'm talking, but I mean, to look at these people and say they should think this way. It's we got people in our own country where I'm like, man, what are you thinking about? What are you talking about? Who have no idea. But imagine that those people over there who just, a lot of them have been through sexual abuse. It just, man, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, man. That you look at it, you see it, you're like, man, because it goes on here. And imagine what is going on in a place where there's a lot less law, a lot less things, that we have going on in our country are going on there. But
one of the things I probably need to end it on this, and I want your opinion on this. Kamala was supposed to be the quote unquote border czar, even though she said she wasn't. But really, she was sent down there to find the root cause, right? Mm-hmm. The root cause of the migration. Mm-hmm. I still haven't heard it. 4 years in office, I still haven't heard that. I didn't see one plan that the Biden administration had to go down to these countries to make those countries better. I didn't see anybody from the Biden administration go down to Maduro and say, "Hey, why are all your people leaving?" Maybe it's because maybe you need to look
out here. Wait. What I had said earlier.
What I'm saying is we don't know. We don't know. We don't have a way to find out unless we go down there. We actually do our due diligence. Talk to the people that are wanting to come up here, find out why they're trying to come up here, sit down with the governments and say, listen, you guys need to change your ways. Okay. We can't sustain what's happening to our country because you can't deal with the people in yours. So why are we not as a country? And I'm not saying Trump, I'm not saying Biden, I'm not saying Obama, I'm not saying Bush, Clinton, whoever. Why are we not going down there and making it better life for them down there by working with their governments? I'm not saying spend money. I'm not saying give money. I'm saying work with their governments to find out what is going on down there that's causing all these people to want to come to the United States.
You sound like me right now. This is exactly what I've been talking about us building our better relationships with our.
I get that. I 100% agree with that.
And so let me say this as well too. So when Biden made that agreement with Maduro about let me go ahead and ease some of these sanctions, he was doing that. That is diplomatic approach. Like, hey, I don't want all these people leaving your country because it's getting to be a problem in mine. You know what I mean? So let me help you figure this out, because they can't go to El Salvador. He's going to stick you in a prison where they'll never hear from you again. If you go to certain other places, you're probably being sex trafficked and wherever else. You got kids with you. It's even worse. Think about those things. And so what he did is say, hey, I'm going to try to work with you. You go ahead. You have a free and fair election in your country. I'll ease some of these sanctions. So, I don't want these people leaving. And he tried that approach.
Like I said before,
I'm not saying more people should not try it. They should keep trying it.
But I mean, that was a pie in the sky kind of thing to get somebody like Maduro to change his ways. It's not going to happen. They just basically, the Biden administration got duped into that one and were made to look foolish.
I don't think so. I think what they did was they actually showed the world that he
Oh,
does
it was
not
good
want to
faith.
change.
It was a good faith move.
Because really it didn't change anything. It didn't change. It didn't win or lose. What it did was say, hey, I'm gonna put a good faith effort in you to try and see if you can do the right thing. Because in reality,
that's a little naive too.
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all.
I think maybe it came from a good place, but it was a naive move. Period.
I don't think so at all. I don't think.
I do.
I think naivety is
history
not
shows
doing
you. History, if they would have went back, and I'm sure they had people that were sitting there going, history dictates that we need to have a little bit more scrutiny here, and I don't think they did. I think they tried to make things better, but they made it worse.
The United States would be then accused of running the election if they would have done that. They have to let it be as free, and they have their own Supreme Court down there. They have their own entire rule of law down there. You have to give them the opportunity to do so. That doesn't mean that you don't. But we gave the opportunity, and we eased sanctions, and we tried to make things better so people would not leave. I mean, he just did what he was going to do regardless. Every other dictator does the same exact thing.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why you can't do what they did to go down there and say, we're going to give you a little bit here. We're going to give you a little bit of sanction relief because we think you can do better. That's a naive look at it.
You just want to call Biden's administration naive, and I get it. I understand, but I think they did a great job with that move. I think it just didn't happen. But I also do feel like people were able to see, oh, we helped out, we did this, and now he did this anyways, and he doesn't even want to show you the actual vote count. He doesn't want to show you anything. It was already something that was not going to happen anyway, but we allowed it to be shown in front of the world. We allowed Venezuelans to see it for themselves.
Let me ask you a question. How many Americans do you think actually gave a shit that they went down there and did that? Besides you.
I mean,
Americans. It's not how many, what we see. What we see as citizens.
There's probably millions of American citizens who are, have attachments or cousins or family who are apart.
What do they really look at? They look at the illegal migration. Even on the left, it's a major disaster.
I'm not just gonna say I bet you a lot of there's people around the world. There's a lot of other countries that were speaking out, like in Colombia, a lot of other countries.
Colombia's down there, they're directly affected by it, though.
And so, Panama, all of these countries are. There's a lot of people who care. And so a lot of these people have actual family members.
People over in Finland don't give a damn. People over in Sweden don't give a damn. They're dealing with their own immigration problems over there.
But I'm not worried about them as much as I'm worried about what's going on in our hemisphere, because that's affecting us directly. I think a lot of Americans did care. We just may not know those people. A lot of Latin Americans probably did care as well, because their countries are being affected by what's going on over here as well. And they probably have family members who are being affected. So I think there's a lot of people who care. We just may not know those people, And so that's kind of how I see it. But with that, it's been a great civil discourse with you, Steve. And we'll see you guys next week. Absolutely. Take care.
Take it easy.